Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for stopping into the monthly meeting. What's old Steve-O doing today? Well, thought I'd have you come along here. I'm doing a little pilling up. This happens to be what I'm doing right now is dandelion root powder. Excellent for your liver cleanser. You can buy it like this by the bag. And the other one I've been doing up, moringa. And I've got videos out there. I do grow my own trees and make the powder, and I put everything up in double lot. This happens to be beef capsules. You can get it in veggie. So it's no big deal to do it. Just get a little ceramic dish, dump your powder in it, and just go at it. You got the small side here on this hand. I'm right-handed, so I put the longer part here, and I just kind of do a little scoop and pack deal. Real quick and easy. I've got the pill block thing where you load them and all that. I find that more trouble than it's worth. So in just it took me probably, I don't know, I don't think I've got 20 minutes in doing all those. So, in an hour's time, you can do these. And if you have cancer, I suggest you get on these two herbs. I'm not a doctor by any means. Just just an old holistic beekeeper. So we got to keep, take care of the beekeeper along with the honeybees. And this is just one little more tool you can put in your toolbox for the beekeeper. I personally take one of those in the morning, one in the evening of the dandelion, and I take usually 2 of the moringa in the morning and 2 in the evening, along with some other supplements that I do. So yeah, it's good to stay with the stuff, and it darn sure isn't going to hurt you. This particular thing, the moringa, I'm in 9B, zone 9B, and I've had these trees out here frost out on me. I thought I killed them out, but to my surprise, in the spring, this year so far, I've had good luck. Hopefully we won't get a zap of frost at the last minute and kill them out, but I found no big deal on those moringas, at least in zone 9B. They come back from the root, so you don't lose them. I had the tree trunks themselves. I got lucky for 3 years. I mean, the tree trunks were this big, and they'll go crazy on you. But I keep them cut low, about head high, and then they'll start sending out shooters all over the place from the trunk and all, and so you can harvest it. When they get about, I don't know, 2.5 feet long, really bushy, I just start collecting the limbs. I tie them all together with some hemp string, and I hang them in the pantry off of a doorknob, and then I put a fan on them in a large cluster. The cluster will be about this big around and about that long, and hanging there off that doorknob. And I put a small fan on it and just let it blow. 3 days, those leaves will just turn dry as a potato chip. And when that happens, then I harvest them. Like I said, you can see it in the video out there. And that's how we do that. Some of these herbs, I am growing dandelions too. I like to eat the dandelion greens. The great liver cleaner also. I tincture them. I've tinctured the root. I have dandelion root tincture, and I also tincture the flowers. Excellent plant. This plant, it wasn't native to North America. This dandelion was brought in by the Europeans way back. Uh, Way back. The honeybee wasn't here either. Matter of fact, the Indians used to say, call the honeybees white man's flies. So we brought in some invasive species, you know, like the honeybee. And dandelions now are growing just about in every state. I grow them out back here. They're a little tougher in Florida to grow. In Michigan, when I lived there, they were everywhere. No problem. Well, you get dandelions anywhere. If you're collecting the wild dandelions, roots and whatnot, just make sure you're not getting from areas that's been sprayed with herbicides and whatnot, because you don't obviously want that poison in your root set, you know, your root stock here. To dry the dandelion root, you dig it up. You do not shake the dirt. You just shake the dirt off. You don't wash it off. You collect it. You want a little bit of that soil on that, believe it or not, on that root. And as it's drying, what little dirt's on there will crumble off. There is some good stuff in that dirt. Do not knock that dirt off there totally. As you're processing it down, the dirt will just about fall off of it. Totally. But you don't want to wash it. Just let it dry. You dry with a fan. And then once you dry it totally, dry it, and it'll just snap. You take the root. If the roots are fairly thick, like a 1/4 inch, slice them. The roots will be like that long. If you get a couple-year-old root, it's better because it's thicker, bigger. But you can harvest even down to even size like that toothpick there. Save those too. Size of that root. But what I do in the spring, I actually only have like 2 or 3 plants I've let go now. They're into their 3rd year, and they're in those beds out back in those concrete blocks. I just put dirt inside those concrete blocks and put those seedlings in there. And those out there now that I used to get my seed from are like 3 years old. And the roots on them are going to be probably about this long and probably like that big around or bigger. But I just leave them right in that block, and they come up. They're right now in the spring. You'll see them shooting up the yellow flowers. So you just leave the flowers alone. Pretty soon you'll see this powder puff on there. So as you go out there, I took about, I don't know, 8 of those big powder puffs. You've got thousands of seeds in there. I just snip them off, leave about that much stem on. I bring them in, set them on a paper towel, and just inside the air-conditioned room. And they dry right out really nice. And then you take a quart or gallon Ziploc, and you just stick that big old seed head down in there, and you just slightly hit it, and all those will fall in there. Now you've got enough seed for 2 or 3 years in there if you want to. And then what I do is get a good rich potting soil on those little 3-ounce all plastic drink cups. And I take my little melting tool, it's a little wood burner with a round tip on it. And what I do is just melt maybe 2 holes in the bottom and 1 small hole on each side. Just barely touch and it'll melt through. And that's it. And so I got a whole bunch. Well, then let me get back. Then you take and you put up some good top potting soil, and you take a toothpick. You wet all those, fill it with your soil, put it on a big tray of some sort, because you got all these small cups you're dealing with. And you can take your seed and dump it on a nice clean paper plate, white paper plate, like this, and then you can see your seeds. Dump them on, leave that little long tail with a little, that little long fluffy thing on there so it can be wind blown across the fields. And you just pick it up by that fluffy deal, and you take your toothpick with wet soil, and you just push it in just about maybe 1/4 of an inch, that seed. Just fold a little dirt over and set it in your tray. You can do tons of them that way. And then what I'll do is go out and I will plant them in areas where it doesn't get they don't like a lot of heat. The ones that are growing really nice here are in Dapple White. In Michigan, they can have full sun. They're great. But that's a different deal. Down here, this heat and humidity, the dandelions don't seem to really like it that much. So anyway, I'm done with this. I'm going to put it back. This will happen to be moringa. I happen to store it in these jars. But here I've got it in a bag. This dandelion root powder. So I'm done with this operation. So you just put it in your plate. Fold your plate up like this. And give it a few taps. It's all back in. Okay, we're done with that operation. Now I've got all my mess you see here on this towel, paper towel. I can just go ahead and fold this up, put it away, and dump it in the trash. Come back with a dust buster, clean it up, and you won't get your ass chewed by your wife, okay? All right, now, did you guys see the speech today of Mr. Trump? God bless Mr. Trump, huh? Isn't he a beauty? I love the way that man rolls. Yes, he's going to be in there. We're going to put him back in for another 4 years, and then after that, what we'll do is put his son in there. Let his son run it for 6. So I don't know what you Democrats are going to do about that. There's nothing you can do about it. We're on the Trump team now, all of us, and we're going to make this country real super great, okay? That's enough of that political. Now, speaking of political, here's my political sign. I don't know what the dimensions are of this thing. I think I can get 50 some last count. You saw me do a video on this before. You go 4-inch this way, and then you go 4-inch this way, and you cut it. I think I cut it with 10 snips, because I did it right here on the dining room table. In here where it's comfortable in the AC. And then in the 4-inch square, I'm cutting out. I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. These are for the beetle bait traps, and I don't see any beetles in these hives with what I've been doing. But there was a fella out there on YouTube made a suggestion. I was cutting out a 3/4 or 1 inch little groove here. You leave a little meat on each end. You put Gorilla Tape on it, and then so you've got a floor on there, and then you flip it over and you put your bait in there. I was putting a straight line. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to just put little dots in there, 4 or 5 dots of that. Then on the top here, put a T, so you know that's up. So you put your first piece of duct tape on the back, and then you put a T over here with a magic marker, so you know that's up. Here's the little thing I found out was kind of cool. You take cornstarch to get that stickiness off that tape, because these beetles are going to come through these corrugations. They're going to come over there and step on that sticky tape. They're not going to like it, and I think cornstarch is going to make even a more attractive lure to get them inside of this thing. So put a little bit of cornstarch in there and just take your finger, rub right over that tape. Instantly it'll remove all stickiness. To any extra, just tap it out or blow it out. Don't do it in here, you're going to have a mess. Take it and do it in the shop or somewhere, even if you had an air compressor. After you did the cornstarch little treatment, pop it with a little air and blow that out of there. Then put your little spots of bait in there, and then top it out with that piece of tape, and stack them up. Now I'm making a lot of these up, and then I'm not leaving them out in the shop. I'm putting them in quart Ziplocs. You can put a bunch of them in there, and then I keep them in a cupboard in here, so it's room temperature. I think that stuff will break down. You know, I don't get too far ahead of it, but I'm thinking you're good for several months in there, and then just take the trap out, throw it away, put in a fresh one. And so that's what I'm doing. And so far, I think it's working out great. I know this oxalic acid thing I'm doing is working out great. These bees are really kicking up, building up. The 6th is coming up, new moon April. March. March is coming up, the 6th. So we'll peek in there and see. And if they're not building, if those deeps that I put in on the bottom aren't filling out good, they're going to go on into April. I'll just keep throwing a little feed to them, let them go on into April. If they swarm, they swarm. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's what's going to happen. Quick meeting today. I'm going to try to have a monthly meeting. Every month we're having this meeting. And see how things are going with you guys. Things are going good here. Make some of these. Make some of these. And be happy. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for stopping in. Bye-bye.